Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to give you 3 indicators as a beginner day trader, so let's jump into it. So on this channel I go over day trading content, investing content and finance based content. If that's something you're into, then obviously hit subscribe, and if you like this video going forward, hit the like button, I do appreciate it. Let's jump into indicator number 1. Now the good thing about all these indicators, they are very simple and they're very easy for beginners to get hold of. And number 1 is support and resistance. This is very simple. Obviously I'll stick pictures up on the screen for you so you can see. This is very simple in a way that basically if the stock goes up and it keeps hitting the same point at the top, that is a resistance point. And on the other side of that, if it keeps going down and bouncing off the same point, that is called a support line. Now a lot of beginner traders basically trade between those lines, and that's what those kind of terminology is. If you're trading between the lines, it's normally trading between support and resistance lines. But just to add on to that, if you keep hitting support like 3, 4, 5 times, it just makes that support line even stronger. But obviously support is not everything, and if it does break below that, it will trade for a bit more price action, and if it will come back up to that support line, that would then act as a resistance line. So support would then turn into resistance, and obviously with that very strong support line, it would actually be a very strong resistance line moving forward. Moving on from that, we have number 2, which is RSI, which is Relative Strength Index. Now as a trader, you use this more for momentum, at least in my opinion. So if a stock is going down, you'll see that the momentum of that stock will be going down, and then it will reach kind of lows of that 25-30 range, and then that's kind of when you want to consider buying it. But obviously, as I say, it's more of a momentum indicator. I don't really trade on it, but it's nice to see if you see the strength in basically the stock at the time, to see that strength and just to see whether you can see a bounce coming up. You can kind of combine it with a support resistance line, that kind of thing. So have that in mind and have it on your charts. It's always useful, but I wouldn't trade on it solely just from that indicator. Now the last one I use quite a lot, especially as a beginner, although I might say I'm a bit more of an intermediate now just because the amount of learning I've done in the last year has been insane. But the moving average is basically the line that follows the stock. So if you have a stock that's going up, then there's a little line just coming up behind it, or as it's going up, and that's called the moving average, and that's basically the average movement of that stock price. It sounds really obvious, and it is. It's really simple. So you can actually have multiple moving average lines. I personally use the 20, the 50 and the 200, and I basically play in between them. So if it bounces off the 200, for example, I would expect it to move up to the 50 or up to the 20, given what's happening with the price action, if there's any news, etc. So I would base that within the means of the stock price. So it's a really simple strategy. If you want to dive into that a little bit more, I did a video a few months ago, which I've linked up here in the right hand corner. It's all about my strategy with the moving averages. So if you want a bit more detail on that, then go ahead and watch that video. But the basis is just playing in between them, and it's just following the moving average up or obviously down if the stock is moving down. Now I hope with these 3 indicators that you have a bit more success with your day trading. If you do, obviously leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear your experience with day trading. Obviously it is a tricky business to get into. You must trade safe, you must have risk management, you must have discipline, and all these things that go along with day trading. With that being said, obviously watch this video next. It's a really good video on day trading beginners, day trading for beginners should I say. So go ahead and watch that, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.